Today we are going to study method of data collection, and we call it these methods research instruments also. And what are these instruments? The questionnaires and interviews, observations. These are the tools of data collection. Uh, in the data collection, we have two types. Primary sources for data collection, because we have two types of sources from where we can collect data, and secondary sources of data collection. Primary sources are those sources in which researcher is in contact with them, with the respondents, and he or she can collect the data directly from those sources. In primary sources, the tools which we use to collect data is first tool is observation. Observation is a very strong tool. We use our six senses to observe something, to observe some phenomena, to observe some environment, to observe the behavior of some person. So this is the main uh, idea behind this observation tool. Sometimes we just study the interior of some places. So we can take the photographs of that places, or we can sit there in that area to observe what is the floor style, what is the material used in the walls, what is the window, what type of window treatments they have. So this is all observation so far as interior design studies are concerned. Observation is basically something which we start research with some observation, because when we observe something different, something new, then we observe it and we write it down. Mostly in the researches where we explore some phenomena, this method is used. Observation is further divided into two types: participant and non-participant. Participant observation is that type of observation in which researcher actively is very much active or participate with the respondents in that activity and then write down his or her observations. That activity can be some sort of like teaching activity, whatever it is, that you actively participate, contact with the respondents, meet them sometimes again and again, and then you write it down. Non-participant is that environment sometimes just the observer or the researcher will sit quietly in a corner of some room and will observe the activity and then write it down, his or her points, what he want to about that. It can be, for example, if you want to observe some sessions of physiotherapy, then you will see that how effective that session of physiotherapy is, what is the behavior of physiotherapist with the patient, or it can be the behavior of doctor with the patient if you want to doing observation on some hospital areas. What is the behavior of nurses with the patients? So these are the non-participant observations, that you will sit there quietly, you will observe, and then you will write it down your analysis. Number two method is interviewing. Interview is where the researcher and respondents are in contact, in contact of one to one contact. You will interview the respondent, you will make a questionnaire. Now again, interviews of two types: structured and unstructured. In structured interview, you will write down the questions, and sometimes we make even assign Likert scale with the structure. With those questions, you will just ask the respondents and you will take their answers. So this is the structured interview. In unstructured interview, we may have open-ended question. Now, open-ended questions are those questions where we put a question in front of the respondent and respondent's answer will guide us for the further questions. We will draw answers. We will draw next questions from the answers of the respondents. So these are the unstructured interviews where we have, for example, what is your opinion about the climate change? This is an example of unstructured question or unstructured interview. What will be their opinion? That will guide you for the further questioning. In structured interview, we will not allow the respondents to give their opinion. We will just give them a question or a question like this, that do you think that climate change is due to the pollution or uh, ozone layer depletion? Though two three options we can give them, and they will just tell us, and we will tick that option ourselves for, and that will be their interview. In the questionnaire method is a very very convenient method, because we develop a questionnaire. Again, we develop questionnaire with the Likert scale. Likert scale is where we will say the respondents to rate their answer from 1 to 5. Do you agree that climate change is due to pollution? Then you will make the Likert scale: agree, not agree, neutral, not at all agree. You will make 5. Very much agree, agree, neutral, not agree, not at all agree. These are the 5 points where the respondent will take and record his responses. Questionnaire can be mailed to the person. Now we have this Google Forms, and we can make questionnaire on Google Forms, and we can send the link to the people, and they can uh, um, record their responses. And even Google will sometime do analysis on some sort of basic analysis on that questionnaires also. Then we have the questionnaires. Collective questionnaires are that where we have a group of people, and we distribute them those questionnaires, and we collect them collectively. They fill some questionnaires and give back to the researchers. One by one, again, we are going to discuss the characteristics of these methods. First of all, the observation method. As I told you, every research starts with observation of some happenings, and that actually guide us. Observation guide us to make our hypothesis, to develop our interest of some type of research which we want to use. Then next is that we use of all 6 senses to gather information. We gather information by using our senses, 6 senses. Sixth sense is your analytical sense. So, sense of smell, touch, through a seeing, hearing, all these senses are used to gather information. Now, this is very important. The next point is the accuracy depends on observers' abilities. That means that how smart you are, how accurate you are, how vigilant you are, how objective you are is very much important in the observation method of data collection. If you are already biased, and then that bias will depict in your observation also. So you should be unbiased, you should be very objective while doing some sort of observations. If you will just write, you should just write what you observe. That is very very much important. Another point here is that sometime in the non-participant observation method, as I told you, that we may have this observation of a physiotherapy session. The physiotherapist may behave perfectly because he knows that some observer is there. So that can also be a type of biased, because if someone is if we know, I am taking your class, research class, and if I know that my some of my seniors, some of my boss is observing this class, I will give my best to this class. And normally this will not be my normal class, it will be above normal activity, that because I will put all my knowledge, all my skills in that class, because I know that someone is observing me. So this accuracy of observer is very very important, or observations accuracy is very important here. Again, in participative and non-participative are the two types, as we discussed before, that if observer will sometime in the participative type of observation, observer will participate with the respondent, and he will not tell them that they are being observed. So that will give you a very accurate answer. And non-participative observation, sometime you may hide yourself somewhere to observe something, or sometime, for example, in next I told you that we take photographs and record videos. You may have these photographs and videos, and which you can again observe in your free time or in some other times. Then again it can give you a true insight of that place which you are observing, or that phenomena which you are observing. Interview method. Research develops interview guide in structured interview. Responses are recorded on Likert scale. As I told you that sometime the best method of interview is that we must have some interview guide with us. For you, the beginners, it is very important because we have some research objectives and then we have some research questions. When we will develop our interview guide and we will develop our interview structure, we will develop our interviews structures, we may miss, or we may can be off track from our objectives and research questions. So it is very important that we make our interview guides before us, so we can ask questions related to our topic and we will not be detract. In unstructured interview, most of the questions are open ended and there are high chances of that you can be detract. Respondents answer may lead to next question. Mostly in the behavioral studies this method is applied because we want to probe. This is a very much this method is mostly used in the qualitative researches where we know about the opinion of the people, then we probe them further so they can give their opinion, true can give their true opinion, and we will note their body language also, their gestures also, and then their answers, and then we will make analysis on it. So this method is very much applicable in the qualitative researchers, but in this method researcher should be so smart that he can observe, he can study each and every aspect of the interview or the respondents while he will taking the interview. Researcher ability to probing should be sharp enough to get the accurate, unbiased answer. Again, in research, the method, whatever method we use, the accuracy of that method depend on the skills of the researcher. If the researcher is skillful and he is unbiased, only then he can get accurate answers. Then we have questionnaire method. This is the most commonly used method in the quantitative researches and survey researches, as I told you, because we need to collect a large number of data. So we don't have time and we don't have money to spend on the interviews. So that's why we developed this method. All these methods, observation, interview, questionnaire, are tools of data collection for social researches, psychology, economics, business, whatever it is. So all these are the tools of research, social researches, and questionnaire is one of the method which is very much cost and time effective, because through this we can get large number of responses or the large number of data. Responses are recorded on Likert scale. We develop in different studies, people have developed different scales. We call it a scale. A questionnaire, when is developed by some expert and it is used for many researches, it becomes a scale. A scale of sleep scale, learning scale. In psychology, we have a long list of these scales. These are the questionnaires, but in many researches they have been tested and tried, and now people are using again and again, and they are now the persons who have developed these scales have the authority that they can allow you, or you will take permission from those persons who have developed that scale before using that questionnaires. Then social media's website can be used to collect these responses. As I told you that we can now have Google Forms on which you can develop your questionnaire and you can share the link with the people. Now this is how you get method of collecting responses of questionnaires. because you can send that link in different groups, WhatsApp groups, and people will record their responses, will, and the Google, it will be again, you will have the record on the Google and you can download from there all the responses. Its return rate is mostly low if you are giving the questionnaire in the hard form. Even in the soft form, Google's form, the return rate is sometimes very low. You may share the link in different groups, but you never know that only few people, two, three people will record the responses and then give back send it back to you. So respondents do not take it seriously and may not fill it. And sometimes this happen. It will not happen in the soft form if you are sending it through Google Forms, because Google will not accept the incomplete responses. But sometimes when you will give the hard forms to the respondents, this questionnaire may be incomplete. You may find when you will start the analysis of your data, that questionnaire, some people send the questionnaire incomplete. Then there will be no use for that questionnaire for you. That is wasted. So this is the disadvantage of this questionnaire method. Then we have these secondary sources of data collection. Secondary sources are those sources which are not present and we cannot contact them. Researcher cannot contact them personally. These sources are always there. Number one source is books. Whatever data we collect from the books, the theories which we, now we have a very large part of literature review in our research. So that literature is always collected through secondary sources, because we do not interview them, we do not give them questionnaire, we do not observe them, we just sometimes buy those books and consult those books and develop our literature background or sometime introduction background. Then we have a lot of research journals, that is again a source of data collection, because before any research, as I told you, that you need to study at least 10 or 20 articles related to your topic. Now that article you will read from the research journals. If we are doing some departmental researches, some record of some department, we are checking statistical record, we can have their historical record, then departmental reports can help us to collect the data. So departmental report in corporate sector, if we want to study the performance of any organization, so we will see the performance indicators from their record, that what was the performance in June, what was the performance in July 2020, August. Now we are doing researches, for example, on impact of COVID in 2020. So all the record of the companies, we can have their economic conditions, their finances, that we will collect from their departmental reports. So this is also a source of secondary data collection. Google Scholar articles, it will come, I write it separately so you can understand it, that research journals are sometimes we may consult in the hard form, and Google Scholar articles are always we search on Google Scholar, is a site, it is a website where we can type the name of the article which we need, and then we will write it down the findings of that article. So that is also a source of secondary source of data collection, which is very much required in every research, because in every research we have to do some literature review, and that literature is always collected from secondary sources. Okay ji, thank you very much.